Let's get it. Let's get it. Arthur Moats, you know what time it is. And as I said, man, on these past couple of lives, it's time. It's time, man. Y'all been seeing Dom around. Dom been around the
Yes,
squad
sir.
now for a couple of years. He's no longer the new guy. All right. Dom low key tenured. He becoming a little vet in the team, man. So with that being the case, like I said, man, when new opportunities open up, man, I like to turn back to the guys. And obviously, man, you've been one of those dudes that have been faithful to the squad, man, more so in a behind the scenes role, doing edits, graphics. Obviously, anybody that's been down there on game days for some of the FedEx Great Hall interviews that we do with the different alumni, you're the guy that's down there, obviously holding the camera, working the crowd, getting interviews as well. So definitely a familiar face. And of course, Turf Watch, everybody's familiar with that as well, man. So he said, man, it was like, you know what, man, let's get my dog up here. Let's get young Dom up here and give him a chance to defend his takes.
Yes,
Because
sir.
it's one thing when we just casually talking and texting. It's another thing when you got to get up and actually talk about it.
That's right.
So
I got the takes.
yeah,
We're ready.
But with that being the case, Dom, let's talk about it, man. We know right now, man, we are all trying to figure out what is the plan for quarterback in 2025. You had Mr. Rooney 2 weeks ago saying that, man, he was open to either Russ or Fields returning, prefers one of those guys. And, that was kind of the way that he left it, but he didn't think that both would be able to come back. You talked to Jay Glazer a week ago at the Super Bowl, and Jay says after texting with Coach Tomlin, he does not feel that Russ is back, and he doesn't really feel that Fields will be back either, but he felt like at least there was some hope for Fields, but he didn't see, with Russ even having an avenue of coming back. And obviously for the backstory, we know Coach Tomlin and Jay Glazer have history. They do go back, and there were certain times where Jay was dropping breaking news that
Mm-hmm.
we looked at it, was like, man, this is confirmed. How did you get that? So that's the part where obviously the Jay Glazer report made a lot of people, or his comments made a lot of people perk up. But then you have obviously Adam Schefter, who kind of came back and was more so in support of what Russ has been putting out there. And we know Russ has been heavy handed on the love bombing, and Pittsburgh is all I care about. So with all of that being said, all of those factors, all of those variables, Dom, what are you doing at quarterback, baby? Are we running it back with the gang? We keeping one? Are we going completely shopping? Help me out, man.
Man, I feel like with how this season went, and I know it wasn't the results that we wanted, but just on paper, you look at the wins, and I'd say it was a successful season overall. So I think blowing it all up and starting from scratch might not be the best idea. But going with the same two guys, that might not be the answer.
Uh
Now, I think you got to keep
Okay.
one or the other.
Okay.
Now, as far as Jay Glazer and his
Yeah.
comments, and Art Rooney as well, I think it's all smoke and
Yeah.
mirrors. I think they're playing the
Ooh.
game. I think they know that if they put
Talk
it out
it.
there that Russ doesn't want to be back, that maybe they can get him for cheaper. I'm not sure.
I see what you're doing there.
Maybe they're just trying to play the game, see what they can mess around with, because I think they know that no matter what, if they want to keep either of these guys, it's going to cost them a lot more than it did last year. So right now, I think we just need to be patient and see how the organization reacts. I think Art
Okay.
Rooney, I don't know how much of a say he has in the quarterback room. I know he's an owner, he's still the majority owner, but there's a lot of people involved in this decision. I think Omar Khan, with how quiet he's been, that's the guy that I'm looking towards. When I hear something from him and Tomlin, maybe
Okay.
that's when I'll get
The
more of
money
an
man.
idea. That's right. That's right. Follow the money.
I always follow the money, and that's the part that had me feeling like, all right, should I just listen to Mr. Rooney, since he is the ultimate, like the top of the pyramid money? But I'm like, man, we remember Omar does do the negotiations, but Coach T did go lone wolf. That was what he said. He went lone wolf with the decision to even start Russ, at the seventh week or part of the season as well, man. So that's the thing. I'm just like, man. But whew.
I think it's all about boom or bust
Okay.
potential with
Boom
all
or
these
bust.
guys.
Okay.
Especially with the in-house. I think you know that with Russ, the floor, it's set pretty high. but I also think the ceiling isn't quite as high as maybe guys like Justin Fields, or even if we go in the draft, Will Howard or Dylan Gabriel. I think the potential there could be higher.
Did you drop a Dylan Gabriel before you said a Jalen Milroe? Is that what I just heard? I just want to make sure I heard you right. Is that what you said? Is that what you said?
As far as like a second day quarterback, if I'm going to wait, I think Milroe, the price to get him is just a little bit more than I'd be willing to pay. Gabriel,
but you see the talent, though. I mean, they say he's little Justin Fields.
They do say that, but then I see some of those games in college, and I just don't think he quite has that NFL caliber. I think Fields in college. I think Fields in college was one of the best. During that time, he showed a lot of grit, and he was a natural winner. Milroe, I know he's in a tough situation with a new coach, but that
because he did stick it out. He didn't leave. He did stick it out. I was like, he could have definitely bounced, man. We obviously saw when Saban was there, that was when his stock was the absolute highest. Saban leaves, a lot of the talent leaves, and we see Milroe, his play becomes a little bit more inconsistent, but he still has moments. And that was the part where I'm always back and forth with Milroe specifically, but it was interesting that you said Dylan Gabriel. So talk to me a little bit about Dylan, man. What is it about him that kind of entices you a little bit, man?
Now, I think that Dylan is a very similar situation to Will Howard, except that where you're able to get him is much better value, where I think we can get more valuable positions in those early rounds compared to when we'd actually need a quarterback. So with Gabriel, I think that he's dealt with some issues in college. He's been up and down. The volatility is definitely all over the place with the guy. But then the potential at the same time, when he has the talent, he can make these reads. He's very patient, but also is very sneaky athletic, which is what I love to see. Which is why personally I'm leaning that Justin Fields and Dylan Gabriel. If I had to pick a 1A, 1B going into next year, I want that sneaky athletic ability and some volatility, some boom or bust potential. I don't want like middle of the road. I want, either we're all the way up here or all the way down here. So
I like it.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Okay. Well, I got to ask that. How do you feel about Will Howard then? I mean, because doesn't he got some of that athleticism that's sneaky enough? Got some boom potential with him. Well, obviously, know he has the size on him. I mean, how you feeling about him?
Definitely like Will Howard. He's another guy where the volatility is definitely there. But I think this final year at Ohio State, he definitely proved that he can be a consistent and maybe even a franchise guy in the NFL.
And
I'm
went
surprised.
head to head with your guy too, man.
That's right. That's right. And in that first matchup, Gabriel played way better. In the Rose Bowl, obviously, things were not going well for Oregon. But it also proved that Johnson, in those moments, in the playoff moments, in the biggest games, he's a guy who can go out there and have grit and stay calm and pull through and win. I mean, a national championship quarterback, that's something special. You look at
1,000%,
the history,
and especially with the expansion of the college football playoffs too. It was more than just win one or win two games. Like, you literally had to beat multiple high-level teams along the way, man.
I agree. I think it definitely means more in the playoffs now. It just shows what type of guy you're getting. Because I think if we had a Patrick Mahomes when there was a college football playoffs, he would have stood out more of a guy who, he can battle through here. Look at this guy who can go up against these teams who on paper are better, but in the moments when you need him, he shows up. So I think Will Howard is definitely a good option if that's what the Steelers are looking for in that part of the draft.
Yeah, because he's for certain one of the guys to me that has kind of surprised me. Watching the college football playoffs and specifically the national championship, he opened up my eyes a lot. And now I'm over here like, man, talk me off of the Will Howard almost. And the same with at times with Jalen Milroe. I felt like a year ago I was on that, whereas now I'm kind of like, all right, I got to get back all the way committed to the Jalen Milroe train because we obviously saw the bad tape at times this past season, but there were some variables in other contexts that was involved with it. I do got to ask though, any interest in, the whole Joe Milton convo? I mean, we obviously heard about him becoming available up in New England. Any desire to go get a guy like that? Obviously, because he would be another young, very freakish athletic traits like we talk about with some of these other guys. And for certain, boom or bust. Absolute boom or bust potential with that one, man.
he might
It could
be
be
the
Cam
biggest.
Newton. It could be just god awful. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, he might be the biggest boomer bust player in the entire NFL.
Yeah.
I do think that he deserves a shot as a starter somewhere in the NFL.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if it's the Steelers. I don't. He just
Oh,
doesn't strike
what
me
if it
as a
hits
Steeler.
though? What if
I would
it
love it.
6'5", 246? What
I
if it
know.
hits, Dom? What if it
It's
hits?
different, but I think they had if they really wanted him, they had the opportunity to get him in the
This is true.
draft.
Yeah.
He was taken pretty late by the
Yeah, it was
Patriots
a
as
sixth
second
round?
quarterback,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
But the talent is obviously there. That last
Mhm.
week when he started for the Patriots, he
Uh-huh.
looked phenomenal. I think he
Yeah.
set, or I think he was like top 5 for like hardest passes
Mhm.
thrown in NFL history.
Yeah.
He's a freakish athlete, but he reminds me of Anthony Richardson, where you're gonna get some crazy plays here and there, but overall, is he gonna be able to keep it up throughout an entire game?
Dom. You've met TG. You know how he is.
That's
He
right.
loves Anthony
That's his guy.
Richardson. Come on, man. That's his guy. That's his guy, bro.
I like watching him a lot, but I would not want him to be my franchise quarterback.
Absolutely not. I'm like, yo, my stomach I can't handle that on a week in and week out basis, bro. I'm good. I don't want anything that's close to that. Like, keep me away from it. But yeah, that's interesting to hear from you, like that you would have that approach, because I do feel like that's kind of like that divide with some of those unicorn type potential quarterbacks. Can you stomach the chaos? Are you willing to give it a year, 2, maybe even 3 to figure it out? I don't think everybody in Pittsburgh is committed to that type of concept, man. That might be a little too rich for our blood over here, man.
The Colts fans are already turning on Richardson.
Right.
Even Pat McAfee, who is a national television show and was a Colt, has even seemed like he hasn't fully turned on him. He has some optimism, but he knows that this year it was not good for him.
That's a tough one. I mean,
it
got to the point over there where they pulling him for Flacco, deciding if you want to keep him in, keep him out. I'm just like, I don't like that. That makes me very nervous, very uncomfortable.
And that's why I love the guys that the Steelers had in house this year.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. There's no question they are
very
natural leaders, and they give it their all. They both want to be the best that they can. And I don't get that same feeling from a guy like Anthony Richardson. That's just my opinion, though.
Remember, he was tired. Cut us some slack, dog. He was tired.
Listen, I watched Justin Fields. Get lit up when he was playing Georgia in the college football championship. I mean, and that guy got back up and battled. That's the type of guy that I want in house.
I'm with you. I say, look, I'll never call a guy soft at this level, man. But I was like, oh, my man said I'm tired.
Yeah.
Hey, all right,
you can't
bro.
be doing that as a franchise quarterback.
All right. That's a tough sell. It's a tough sell, man. Tough sell. But here we are, though, man. And like you said, man, this isn't going to go away anytime soon. This hunt for the quarterback situation, obviously, we're going to continue to monitor it, man, continue to see what type of reports and new updates we get. But I personally, man, I think it's going to be closer to March, man, closer to free agency before we get anything definitive. I believe combine time frame, we should have something, though. I'm thinking back even with Chicago, man, when they made their announcement about going the Caleb Williams route versus the Justin Fields route, combine was where it happened at. And for multitude of reasons, man, you get a chance to talk with all the different GMs, owners, coaches are down there. Obviously, you're seeing some of the collegiate athletes, and you might feel to an extent that, all right, now that I've got a chance to see this guy, I feel a little bit more confident in this guy or just the quarterback class as a whole. And now I can't move on from this guy. Or it might be the reverse effect. Man, I'm here. I don't like what I'm seeing to that extent. Or the one that I really want, he has a medical or he's going to get drafted too early. Now let me hurry up and go ahead and get this deal done before free agency starts that second week of March time frame. So that's kind of where we're at with it, man. But dude, we're going to keep these convos rolling, man. All right. So
yes,
we're going to do this again. Y'all already know in the comment section, though. Let me know. Let Dom know. How y'all feel about his take? He ain't going anywhere. He said he'd be back. All right. He said he will be back. Okay. But we got to talk some other, positions later on down the line as well, man. But like I said, man, y'all definitely hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe either if you're new to the channel, and we appreciate you for tuning in. And until next time, baby. Peace.